Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Coming up in the next hour. National Investigation Agency NIA intensifies search for evidence in dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam. India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar appreciates global support, speaks to UN Chief and other non-member nations of the UNSC. US President Donald Trump marks 100 days in office with Michigan visit, hails achievements and vows to make America great again. Trump's 100 days gift to US car makers, eases auto tariffs on foreign parts imports, adds tariff talks with India going great, expects a trade deal soon. Tensions further escalate in South China Sea. China conducts naval patrolling, accuses the Philippines of creating disturbances. India has intensified probes in Pahalgam terror attack in which 26 people, mainly tourists, were killed on April 22nd. The National Investigation Agency NIA team has recreated the crime scene and is meticulously gathering evidence from every corner. They are also examining the past contacts of mule operators to determine any involvement in previous criminal activities. Earlier on Tuesday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired a crucial security meeting joined by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. Chief of Defence Staff Anil Chauhan and the chiefs of the three services also attended the meeting. The high-level meeting was held in the wake of the Pahalgam terror attack. Another incident of ceasefire violation was reported across the line of control in Jammu and Kashmir on the intervening night of 29th to 30th April. Pakistani army posts initiated unprovoked small arms fire across the line of control opposite the Naushera, Sundarbani and Akhnur sectors in the Union Territory of J&K. The unprovoked small arms firing by Pakistan Army was also reported from their posts across the line of control in Baramulla and Kupawara districts, as well as across the international border in the Pargawal sector. In response to these provocations, the Indian Army acted with restraint and effectiveness, ensuring the safety and security of its positions along the LOC. In Jammu and Kashmir, all security arrangements have been put in place to ensure the safety, security and comfort of all visiting tourists to the Kashmir region following Pahalgam terror attack. Meanwhile, tourist activity remains unaffected at key locations. Tourists are being warmly welcomed and local communities, along with the administration and tourism stakeholders, are fully facilitating the tourist stay. DD India's Vishal Barrister joins us from Srinagar now. Vishal, how close are the security forces in nabbing on the terrorists responsible for the dastardly terror attack on April 22nd?
Well, a very good morning to you, Tanvi. Yes, the investigation agencies and investigating agencies are working overnight to finally nab those culprits behind the dastardly attack. Meanwhile, let me tell you that 30 Pakistani nationalists have been repatriated from Jammu and Kashmir. This is the latest news coming in. 30 Pakistani nationalists have been repatriated. Meanwhile, precautionary measures have been taken by the Jammu and Kashmir state government. 48 tourist destinations. Now, these are either distant locations or because of security reasons they have been closed down. I repeat, there is no closure of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir. Right now, I am here at the Dal Lake. And though the tourism has gone down drastically, but still tourists are still coming in. As far as the investigation goes, more than 200 people have been so far detained and interrogated by the NIA and also Jammu and Kashmir police. So this is the news that I report from Srinagar this morning.
Okay, 8 days after the attack now, Vishal, if you look back, the Pahalgam terror attack in Kashmir mirrors Hamas-style tactics with terrorists using helmet-mounted body cams, encrypted apps and carrying out identity checks. Certainly this attack wouldn't have been carried out without the help of locals.
Well, absolutely, no questioning about it. The local help is quite evident, and it could not have happened without the local help, and that is why the investigating agencies are also working hard to flush out, drill out, dig out the overground workers. We know that more than around 10 houses of those involved with the LET and the Jaish-e-Mohammed have been razed down to the ground, and the lookout is there for all the overground workers, because the local network is quite evident, and the initial evidences that have been collected by the investigating agencies prove that there was a larger network working locally for this attack. Tanvi?
Thank you very much, Vishal. Thank you for giving us the latest from Srinagar day in and day out. Meanwhile, the departure of Pakistani citizens from India through the Atari border saw a significant rise on Tuesday, coinciding with the last day of validity for medical visas issued to Pakistani nationals as per the Union government's decision in wake of the terror attack in Pahalgam. The validity of short-term visas for Pakistani nationals had already expired on Sunday. The Indian government revoked all categories of visas issued to Pakistani citizens except long-term, diplomatic and official visas with immediate effect from April 27th, with medical visas valid till April 29th. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar received calls from world leaders, including UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and his counterparts from 7 non-permanent member nations of the UN Security Council, condemning the April 22nd Pahalgam attack in Jammu and Kashmir. In a post on social media platform X, Dr. Jaishankar said, and I quote him, received a call from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, appreciate his unequivocal condemnation of the terrorist attack in Pahalgam, agreed on the importance of accountability. India is resolved that perpetrators, planners and backers of this attack are brought to justice. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the UAE, Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, also called Dr. Jaishankar and discussed the need to counter terrorism in all forms. Further, Dr. Jaishankar thanked his Sierra Leone counterpart for their strong condemnation of the Pahalgam terror attack. The Indian External Affairs Minister also thanked Algerian Foreign Minister Ahmed Attah for the solidarity and support expressed in the aftermath of the Pahalgam terror attack. Thanking Guyana's Foreign Minister, Dr. Jaishankar stated on social media that they discussed the Pahalgam terrorist attack and the need to combat terrorism in all its forms and manifestations. Dr. Jaishankar also thanks Slovenia's Foreign Minister for his condemnation of the dastardly attack. Further, Dr. Jaishankar also spoke to Panama's Foreign Minister, Javier Martinez Aisha Vasquez, regarding the Pahalgam attack. He further received a call from Cyprus Konstantinos Kombos for his support. India's Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal, who is in London on a 2-day visit, met with Group Chairman of HSBC Mark Tucker. During the meeting, the two exchanged views on strengthening India's integration with global financial systems and HSBC's plans to expand their presence in India. Later, the minister also met with Chancellor of the Exchequer of UK, Rachel Reeves, and Secretary of State for Business and Trade of the UK, Jonathan Reynolds. The leaders had a fruitful exchange on advancing India-UK economic ties. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal also attended a business reception in London, joined by Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, David Lammy. Addressing the event, Minister Goyal spoke about the promising future of India-UK partnership, highlighting shared values, growing economic synergy and mutual commitment to innovation-led growth. And in updates from India, in a land where faith echoes through the mountains, the spiritual journey of the Chardham Yatra has begun once again. Revered as one of the most sacred pilgrimages in India, the Chardham, comprising Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath and Badrinath, welcomes devotees from across the world to its divine heights. Here's a detailed look at this soul-stirring journey.
Nestled high in the Garhwal Himalayas of Uttarakhand, the Chardham shrines hold immense significance in Hinduism. The Chardham Yatra is not just a journey of physical endurance, but a spiritual cleansing, believed to grant liberation from the cycle of life and death. The sacred journey traditionally begins on the day of Akshay Tritiya every year. The first dham in this Chardham Yatra is considered to be Yamunotri, the source of the Yamuna river. The next stop is Gangotri, where the holy Ganga is believed to have descended from heaven onto earth. The third dham, Kedarnath, dedicated to Lord Shiva, stands resilient against the backdrop of snowy peaks. Accessible by a strenuous track or helicopter, Kedarnath holds the promise of immense spiritual merit for those who reach its doors. The pilgrimage concludes at Badrinath, the abode of Lord Vishnu. Adorned with vibrant flags and chants, Badrinath is a symbol of devotion, resilience, and divine grace. Pilgrims must register before undertaking the journey. Online registration can be done through the official Uttarakhand Tourism Portal or the Tourist Care Uttarakhand app. A valid ID, a passport-size photograph, and travel dates are required to generate the essential e-pass. The Chardham Yatra, though demanding, offers a rare chance to reconnect with nature, devotion, and oneself. For countless believers, this journey is not just a travel, it is transcendence. Kriti Vadhera's report for DD India.
India will be holding for the first time an exposition of the sacred Buddha relic of Sarnath at Vietnam during the gala celebrations of the United Nations Day of Vesak 2025. India's Ministry of Culture, in collaboration with the International Buddhist Confederation, will bring the holy relic to Delhi today amidst prayers from monastery in Sarnath to the Varanasi airport. Upon reaching Delhi, the holy relic will be placed in a special protected enclosure at the National Museum for prayers, chanting, meditation by followers of Dhamma, including eminent members of the community, diplomatic representatives from the Buddhist countries. The following day, that is on May 1st, the holy relic will be transported with great reverence, escorted by senior monks with full religious sanctity and protocol to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam by a special Indian Air Force aircraft. The exposition coincides with the United Nations Day of Vesak 2025 as it is being celebrated in Vietnam as an opportunity for not only the citizens of Vietnam to seek blessings of the holy relic, but also the international delegates from over 100 countries and regions who would be participating in the Vesak Day celebrations. Still to come on this edition of DD India News Up. 3 killed in Uppsala shooting as gang violence escalates in Sweden. US warns Russia, Ukraine of ceasing mediation efforts without concrete proposals. And an Indian Kiwi man hiking across the New Zealand to raise funds, blending culture, community and cause. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I am Tanvi Taneja. On to updates from the US. President Donald Trump held a rally in Michigan on Tuesday to mark the first 100 days of his second term, staging his largest political event since returning to the White House. Speaking at the rally in Macomb County, Trump hailed what he called the most successful first 100 days of any administration in the history of their country. He also promised to bring back jobs to the United States and said his administration was ending illegal immigration, taking back their jobs and restoring the rule of law. The rally in the political competitive state, the hub of the US auto industry, was the largest event hosted by Republicans since Trump's January 20th inauguration.
And we're here tonight in the heartland of our nation to celebrate the most successful first 100 days of any administration in the history of our country, and that's according to many, many people. This is the best, they say, 100-day start of any president in history, and everyone is saying it. And week by week, we're ending illegal immigration. We're taking back our jobs and protecting our great American auto workers and all of our workers, frankly. We're protecting all of our workers. We're restoring the rule of law, which was sort of out the window with this crazy guy we had.
So it's been 100 days since President Donald Trump began his second term in office, and it's been nothing short of eventful. At 78 years old, President Trump has wasted no time pushing forward a sweeping and often controversial agenda impacting everything from the economy to immigration and international trade. So now let's tell you what all Trump has done. Since taking office, President Trump has signed 142 executive orders, including 37 in his first week. He rescinded 78 of former President Biden's executive actions and has since revoked more than 100 orders overall. On the legislative front, Trump's approach has been lean. Only 5 bills have been signed into law. Trump administration is facing significant judicial scrutiny as over 200 legal challenges have been launched against various policies. Trump has issued pardons for 39 individuals and entities. Among these was an unprecedented broad pardon intended for anyone convicted in connection with the January 6th US Capitol riots. Under the newly established Department of Government Efficiency, tens of thousands of federal employees have been affected. On the immigration front, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported a record low of 7,180 southwest border crossings in March. In trade, Trump's tariffs have raised concerns internationally, with a baseline 10% tariff on imports and higher rates up to 25% on certain goods. The average effective tariff now standing at 28%, the highest since 1901. The annual inflation rate as of March has only moderated to a 6-month low at 2.4%. So US President Trump has announced new fighter jets for Selfridge Air National Guard Base. He said that very soon they will replace the retiring A-10 Warthogs with 21 brand new F-15 EX Eagle II fighter jets. The next generation air dominance program will replace Lockheed Martin's F-22 Raptors with a crewed aircraft built to enter combat alongside drones, he added.
As Commander-in-Chief, I'm proud to announce that very soon we will replace the retiring A-10 Warthogs with 21 brand new F-15EX Eagle II fighter jets, the best in the world, fresh off the line. This will keep Selfridge at the cutting edge of Northern American air power. My administration will also continue with plans to replace the outgoing KC-135s and KC-46 Pegasus aircraft to continue that important refueling mission, and they'll be restocked with brand new top-of-the-line refuelers. for generations. The men and women of Selfridge have always been here, and they've always been for us. Whether you're Republican or you're Democrat, they've always been for us. They've been for America. And under the Trump administration, we're going to be there for you.
Donald Trump further signed an executive order intended to reduce the economic hit from multiple overlapping tariffs on automakers. The move means that an automaker would not face both a 25% levy for an imported vehicle and 25% on steel or aluminium, easing the impact of his tariffs on the automotive industry, yielding to weeks of intense lobbying from automakers. Parts suppliers and dealers who warned excessive levies could push up car prices, triggering plant shutdowns and job losses. In his latest partial reversal of tariff policies, Trump agreed to give car makers 2 years to boost the percentage of domestic components in vehicles assembled domestically. So this will allow to offset tariffs for imported auto parts used in US assembled vehicles equal to 3.75% of the total value of the manufacturer's suggested retail price of vehicles they build in the US through April 2026 and 2.5% of US production through April 30th, 2027. US President Donald Trump hinted a trade deal with India soon. Speaking to reporters, Trump said that the talks with India on tariffs were coming along great and he thinks that the two countries will reach a deal.
India's coming along great. I think we'll have a deal with India. The Prime Minister, as you know, was here 3 weeks ago and they want to make a deal. We'll see what happens.
So Donald Trump has levied a 26% reciprocal tariff on India and had later announced a 90-day pause on the duties to discuss trade agreements with several countries. United States Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent on Tuesday said that the US is very close on a trade deal with India. Speaking alongside White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, Bessent praised New Delhi's approach, calling it much easier to negotiate with India than other nations due to the country's relatively low non-tariff trade barriers. Bessent also referred to US Vice President J.D. Vance's India visit, saying that India and the US made some very good progress regarding the trade deal.
I'm glad you brought up our Asian trading partners and allies. They have been the most forthcoming in terms of doing the deals. As I mentioned, Vice President Vance was in India last week. I think that he and Modi made some very good progress, so I could see some announcements on India.
And India's Akshay Dongre joins us on the story now from New Delhi. Akshay, US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying that India is likely to be among the first countries to finalize a bilateral trade agreement with the US to avert reciprocal tariffs. By when can we expect this deal now?
Well, the talks are going on. It's intense negotiation and engagement with the U.S. partners that India has to do consistently. And since this is related to a long-term trade with the U.S., at least given the fact that the Trump administration has just come in, things have to be permanent in nature. So the kind of deficit that the U.S. has been feeling with trade while doing trade with several countries that has been there, and to fix that, countries have to probably offer more to the U.S. as far as tariffs are concerned, or as far as imports from the US are concerned. So what India can do is reduce the imports that are coming in from other countries, such as China perhaps, and other countries as well, and rely more on the US good. And that is what is likely to create some sort of a trade balance. Instead of reducing our export, we can just increase our imports from the US. So we are not exactly looking at a timeline as of now, because what we have seen from earlier trade deals or free trade agreements, that these deals do take a lot of time, but the kind of initiative that has been shown by India is promising.
Okay, Trump celebrated the 100th day of his second term in office with a campaign-style speech in Detroit. Has his term so far been defined by consolidating his presidential power in office?
Well, sort of. In fact, even before he came to the White House, we have seen the kind of messaging that was given by the not just administration, but also his team that he has been finalizing. His spokesperson, Trump himself, they have been talking about making rapid changes, fixing the mistakes of the past, as he has been calling it, of the Biden administration especially. So he has consolidated his power. The opposition as well, the Democrats as well know that Trump is there to stay. He is going to be there, and the kind of attacks that Trump has faced even before his presidency, or him being elected the president once again, he has been very aimed at certain things when it comes to his political will, as well as his decisions that he's going to take as the US president. And that's what he has been doing, the kind of executive orders that have been signed, earlier orders that have been cancelled. One thing that has been clarified by Donald Trump is that he is going to use all of his powers as far as making negotiations and deals the way he wants to.
Thank you very much, Akshay. It's quite an eventful 100 days in government. We'll keep coming back to you for more. All right, moving on. Updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio declared on Tuesday that the time has come for Ukraine and Russia to present concrete peace proposals or risk losing the US mediation efforts altogether. US State Department warned that continued inaction could force the US to step back from peace efforts. Both Kiev and Moscow claim to support progress, yet remain locked in mutual blame. Russia's President Vladimir Putin announced a brief 3-day ceasefire for the Second World War commemorations, but Ukraine criticized it as symbolic, demanding a longer, immediate truce. The US dismissed temporary halts, calling instead for a full and lasting ceasefire.
I do have something I can tell you that the Secretary said to me. We are now at a time where concrete proposals need to be delivered by the two parties on how to end this conflict. How we proceed from here is a decision that belongs now to the President. If there is not progress, we will step back as mediators in this process.
On to Sweden now. 3 people were shot dead in the Swedish city of Uppsala on Tuesday as the latest shooting to rock the Nordic nation. Police confirmed that 3 individuals have died as a result of the shooting and announced that a murder investigation has been launched. Earlier, police reported receiving calls about gunfire in central Uppsala and stated that several individuals were found with injuries, possibly caused by the shooting. The largest television broadcaster in Sweden, SVT, reported that witnesses said a suspect had fled on a scooter. Sweden has faced increasing violence in recent years, with shootings and bombings tied to gang rivalries, often carried out by teens under 15 who are below the age of criminal responsibility. You're watching DD India News Hour, still to come on the show. Mark Carney's Liberal win in Canada's election, though short of majority. World leaders sent their congratulations to Carney. BRICS foreign ministers meet in Rio, failed to reach a joint statement but highlight concerns over trade protectionism. And also on the other side, we'll get you all the weather updates from around the world. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Tanvi Taneja. A quick recap of the headlines we're tracking at this hour. National Investigation Agency NIA intensifies search for evidence in the dastardly terror attack in Pahalgam. India's External Affairs Minister Jaishankar appreciates global support, speaks to the UN chief and other non-member nations of the UNSC. US President Donald Trump marks 100 days in office with his Michigan visit, hails achievements and vows to make America great again. Trump's 100 days gift to US car makers, eases auto tariffs on foreign parts imports, adds tariff talks with India going great, expects a trade deal with India soon. And tensions further escalate in South China Sea. China conducts naval patrolling, accuses the Philippines of creating disturbances. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberals secured the highest number of seats in Parliament, beating the Conservatives by a comfortable margin, but are likely to fall short of a majority. Against the backdrop of a trade war with the Trump-led United States, results of Canada's federal elections were keenly watched by members of the global community. European leaders have hailed Carney's victory as promoting multilateralism. In his victory speech, Carney said, "Old relationship with the United States is over." India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi also said that he looks forward to working with Carney to unlock greater opportunities for our people. And DD India's Tarun Paul joins us from Ontario, Canada on the story. Hi, Tarun. With Mark Carney being given the mandate to govern again, it has been a stunning turnaround in the fortunes of the Liberal Party.
Right now, we are at City of Brampton. It's a little coldy and you could see the camera a little shivering. But yesterday, it was full of chaos here at City of Brampton. You could see people running around here, especially in the City of Brampton. It was a little chaos here, especially from Brampton North, Brampton South, Brampton West. It was a little chaos here. But finally, Mark Carney was able to win the majority and was able to attain the election and will be the Prime Minister, next Prime Minister here. The main focus which the people were able to, what we could say that the main focus was there was regarding the affordability, housing, and regarding the international student, regarding the immigration, because people have faced a lot here, and they think that Mark Carney would be able to come out, will be able to take out the Canada from this scenario right now.
Okay. Now, Canadian elections, this one will be remembered as a straight contest between the Liberals and the Conservatives. Now, what does it mean for smaller parties like the NDP and its leader Jagmeet Singh, who've lost the most in this election?
As DD India showed it, that Jagmeet Singh has resigned it. So it shows that that NDP might have to have the new leader right now, because they were able to get around 7 to 9 seats only all over the Canada, which is kind of lower because Jagmeet Singh holds a lot of majority here and a lot of Sikh community follows him a lot. But right now, people are not following him a lot as compared to a liberal as conservative. Keeping the focus on liberal and conservative, people were able to focus on the liberal and they were able to bring the liberal to the government. But still, conservative was able to hold the majority, especially in the city of Brampton. I'm focusing here, especially city of Brampton, because around 3 a.m. here at Canada time, there was not clear that who would be the main candidate, who would be the main person who would be running from that election, especially from the Brampton North, Brampton South. There were Ruby Sohota from Brampton North, Caledon. She was running behind, and suddenly around 2 a.m., 2:30 a.m., she came behind. She came in front of around 200 votes and 300 votes. Then we go to Kamal Khera. She got the position at around in the cabinet also, but she lost the elections. Then Sonia Sidhu, she worked a lot here in the regarding the diabetes and everything for the childhood and everything. But still, she was behind, and suddenly at the end around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So Mark Carney, he won the election, and Conservative was behind. But he needs to think that what else he need to do so that the people trust should be back, and the work like affordability, housing, he should work on that also for sure.
Okay. Now, India-Canada ties hit new lows in Trudeau's reign, Tarun. With Mark Carney in power now, can we expect a reset in India-Canada relations?
Definitely, because right now, Mark Carney has always been neutral right now. In all his speeches before the elections also, and right now during the election also, he has always maintained that all the countries, whether it's any country, whether Mexico or any country, he has made sure that Canada relations should go forward and the Canada should move forward towards the right direction. Especially the US, he has taken care of that also. Whether it's India, US, or anywhere, he has made sure that the Canada should move forward, and he's making sure that the tariffs. He during his yesterday's speech also, he made sure that okay, that US and Canada will move towards the right direction, and the people right now will work towards it. And like there was some tariffs announcement which was happened by Donald Trump, but in the future there are hopes that the whole scenario will work towards the Canadians.
Okay, Canadians have given the mandate to Mark Carney again. Thank you very much, Tarun Paul, reporting from Brampton, Canada. All right. The foreign ministers of the BRICS group of developing nations met in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil on Tuesday. The ministers failed to reach a joint communique, but Chair Brazil issued a statement speaking out against trade protectionism. In the statement, Brazil said that the group's foreign ministers expressed serious concern at the prospect of a fragmented global economy and the weakening of multilateralism. Brazilian Foreign Minister Mauro Vieira stated that the BRICS ministers had agreed on the tariff issue. He also noted that the countries are aiming to finalize a joint declaration at their July summit, also set to take place in Rio de Janeiro.
Então não houve nenhuma discordância.
There were not discrepancies. Each country and each member state of regional groups, some from the African group, just declared their positions. We are working to make compatible each of these groups' decisions for the declaration of the heads of state and the final declaration. In regards to commercial and tariff issues, there was absolute consensus among all countries.
Que consta da declaração.
Back to Asia now. Tensions in South China Sea surged. China's Navy conducted a patrol in the South China Sea on Tuesday, accusing that the Philippines has been creating disturbances and carrying out its own patrols with other countries. The standoff intensifies as both nations assert overlapping sovereignty claims in the contested waters. Over 14,000 US and Filipino troops are engaged in large-scale military drills from April 21st to May 9th, drawing sharp criticism from Beijing, which labelled the exercises provocative. The Southern Theatre Command declared its forces are fully prepared to defend national sovereignty and regional peace. And now let's go back to the story on the Wagah-Atari border. Well, the departure of Pakistani citizens through the border saw a significant rise on Tuesday, coinciding with the last day of validity of medical visas issued to Pakistani nationals as per the Union government's decision in the wake of the terror attack in Pahalgam. The validity of short-term visas for Pakistani nationals had already expired on Sunday. And DD India's Gurmeet Singh joins us from the Atari border. Gurmeet, good morning. The deadline for exiting India for all categories ended on April 29th. What more can you share with us on the numbers?
Yes, 29th April, as you have already told to our viewers, was the last date for the Pakistani nationals to leave the country, to exit from Atari Wagah border. Right now, we are seeing few Pakistani nationals who have reached here, but they are escorted by police because they are being deported. I would like to show you the latest visuals over here. There is a vehicle which is parked over there. You can see, our viewers can see, it is carrying few Pakistani nationals from Rajouri, and police is escorting this vehicle, waiting for the immigration office to open at 10 a.m. Right there, I would like to show you another vehicle. A bus is parked over there in the ground, and just behind that there is another bus in which 6 Pakistani nationals are there, which are being deported to Pakistan today, and Jammu Kashmir police has brought them from Kashmir to deport them today to Pakistan. So if we talk about the numbers, the tally of the Pakistani nationals who have been deported till now, the number goes somewhere around 787. Yesterday only 110 Pakistani nationals have been deported. Same way the Indians have come back to their homeland in a big number. So the number of the Indians who've come back to their country, now that tally reaches somewhere around 1300, and the number of the Pakistani nationals who've gone back to their homeland, the number goes beyond 700, somewhere around 787. So the latest that we are getting in on the ground zero is that there is another vehicle which is parked there just behind me. There are few international travelers who have reached here on Atari border to cross over the border. They have contacted the immigration authorities yesterday only, but immigration authorities told them that since today is the last day for the Pakistani nationals to exit this country, so they will have to wait for another 24 hours. So that's why these international travelers are waiting to cross over the border to Pakistan. This lady who's there in this vehicle belongs to Iran, so she wants to go back to her country via Pakistan and Afghanistan. So right now international travelers are also there, and the situation on ground is that now speculations are there pertaining to the trade also, because integrated check post is also known for the trade with Afghanistan, and before 2019 there was a large number of trade happening with Pakistan, but due to the escalation with Pakistan in 2019, most favored nation status was taken back, and after that the trade with Pakistan came to standstill, but trade with Afghanistan was continuing till now. And the major exports I would like to discuss here is which were happening through this Atari Wagah post, integrated check post. The major exports India was doing was of soya bean, chicken feed, vegetables, red chilies, plastic dana, plastic yarn, and the major imports which were being done from integrated check post were dry fruits, dry dates, gypsum, cement, glass, rock salt, and few herbs. So now there are speculations on trade whether it will also come to a standstill, and the trade, if we talk about the amount of trade that was happening in one financial year of 2023 and 24, the amount of trade from this border was 3,838 crore rupees. So you can understand the significance of this border in terms of trade also.
Thank you very much, Gurmeet Singh, for that analysis from the Atari Wagah border. Thank you for joining in. And now let's take a look at a story of Indian resilience, spirit and nurturing communities. Here we have Anurag Sharma, an Indian Kiwi man who is hiking across the whole of New Zealand to raise funds for charitable causes, inspiring others to embrace wellness and purpose. Our correspondent Soumya Sharma brings us this story straight from Wellington, New Zealand.
From the lush trails of New Zealand to hearts back home, this Kiwi Indian strides with both purpose and pride. Anurag Sharma walks 3,000 kilometers no less for noble causes worldwide. Let's hear his story. Turning treks into triumphs, Anurag Sharma, based in Wellington as an analyst, is walking Te Araroa, one of the world's most diverse long-distance trails, to raise funds for 10 different charities like the Breast Cancer Foundation NZ and Women's Refuge through social media crowdfunding and fundraising organizations. Hello Anurag, welcome to DD India. Let's go back to how it all started for you. I mean, what inspired you to take on this journey of hiking for charity?
Oh, thank you. Actually, it was COVID. We had a lockdown in New Zealand. And at that point, I'd only been hiking for about 2 or 3 years. I was still very new to it. And yeah, just discovered this long trail on the internet. And then I'm an analyst by trade, so I researched it all the way. And then that's kind of where it all started. I'd actually had plans to walk this trail, which is 3,000 kilometers when I was older. Oh. You know how it is, like you go to school, go to uni, get a job, everything. So I was like, okay, when I'm closer to retirement, I'll do it then. But 4 years ago, my mum passed away. Oh. So she was 58. and she was perfectly fit and fine up until up to the age of 40. And then she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and then over time her heart gave out. But once she passed away, I just sort of realized it's better to do it now rather than later and wait around, and who knows where I'll be when I'm 58, you know. So yeah, that was probably the main trigger for me to do it now. Yeah.
Okay. That gives me a good sense of the whole thing. And now could you please just walk us through how the whole hiking for charity thing works? I mean, how is the money raised?
Walk us through. I like that. Yeah, actually, I was just kind of looking for any motivation at that point. So, the walk itself goes through 10 regions of Aotearoa, New Zealand, and I just kind of decided it would be good to fundraise for 10 different causes. I think on top of actually, you know, my initial why I was doing this, I thought it would just be good to do some good along the way. So actually, one random night, I just threw it on my Instagram and I asked my friends, I was like, what are some cool charities out there? And I got I don't know, 30, 40 of them. So I just kind of researched some of them, and some that felt sort of, you know, close to my heart. Obviously Breast Cancer Foundation being an obvious one, and then a couple of local ones in Wellington. But then there are sort of ones that are helping more marginalized parts of the country as well. So yeah, that's kind of how the selection of charities came about, and it's actually been a good added, like I said, motivation. Raised almost $6,700 last time I checked. So I've still got a little bit more, I guess, social media. So that's actually how I fundraise the money. Yeah, I created an Instagram page, and it kind of just, as much as it can blow up in New Zealand, it kind of blew up. So yeah, a lot of followers who were interested in the walk started following my journey, and then from there, yeah, that's where sort of the money started coming in, which is nice.
An initiative that started with a random social media poll, that's very interesting. This is Soumya Sharma reporting from Wellington for DD India.
And on to weather updates now, starting with India. A persistent lack of rain and dry westerly winds have pushed national capital Delhi's April temperatures and pollution levels to their highest in 3 years. According to India Meteorological Department, the capital's average maximum temperature for April this year was 39 degrees Celsius, 2.5 notches above the long period average, making it the hottest April since 2022, when the average was 40.4 degrees Celsius. The average minimum temperature also rose to 21.8 degrees Celsius, 0.5 degrees Celsius above normal, marking the warmest April nights since 2022. However, the national capital may soon get relief, with rain likely in the coming days. A light rainfall is also expected in some regions of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal. The northeastern and southern states will likely experience light to heavy rain in the coming days. In the United States, severe April storms whipped through the midwestern state of Missouri, damaging houses and businesses, including a small private airport on Tuesday. The National Weather Service indicated that a tornado likely touched down in Fremont Hills, located about 15 miles south of Springfield, Missouri's third largest city, with wind speeds reaching 90 miles per hour. The storms knocked down trees and left tens of thousands without power. Severe weather is expected to persist through Wednesday. In central Peru, the residents worked to clear the debris and mud left by a landslide that claimed the lives of 2 people and affected hundreds. The landslide was triggered when a developing lagoon drained into the Casca River, causing it to overflow and unexpectedly forcing residents to flee. As per reports, 8 people were injured and hundreds affected. The National Institute for Research and Glaciers and Mountain Ecosystems stated that there are some 160 lagoons with risk of overflowing in the Ancash region. Akshaya Tritiya is being celebrated today, marking one of the most auspicious occasions in the Hindu calendar. Traditionally associated with wealth and prosperity, the day is believed to bring good fortune, especially through the purchase of gold and other precious items. Jewelry stores across the country witnesses a spike in footfall on this specific day as buyers rush to make symbolic purchases, believing that investments made on Akshaya Tritiya multiply over time. This year, experts predict the domestic jewelry market is likely to witness a mixed trend in gold and silver buying amid the sharp rise in prices of these precious metals. as gold prices have touched an all-time high of 1 lakh rupees, nearly 1 lakh rupees per 10 grams. Now, shares struggled for direction on Wednesday and oil prices slid as relief over a potential easing of global trade tensions was offset by a worsening economic outlook and sour signals from corporates swept up by Donald Trump's tariffs. The precarious state of the global economic outlook, particularly in the United States, left Wall Street futures struggling to sustain gains made during the cash session overnight. Nasdaq futures were down 0.6% in Asia, while S&P futures fell 0.4%. Euro futures swung between slight losses and gains, while MSCI's broadest index of Asia-Pacific shares outside Japan added just 0.1%. The Nikkei was up 0.15%. Oil prices also extended their steep losses from the previous session on worries about global growth and its impact on demand. And you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for some sporting action. First updates from soccer. Paris Saint-Germain seized the advantage in its Champions League semi-final against Arsenal as Ousmane Dembele sailed a 1-0 win in the first leg on Tuesday night. Dembele struck in the opening minutes at the Emirates Stadium and Luis Enrique's side held on to lead with a composed display that kept Arsenal at bay. PSG will head into the second leg of the semi-final next week as the favourite to reach the final against Barcelona or Inter Milan, as it looks to win the tournament for the first time. Meanwhile, Arsenal's first defeat in 18 home European matches was a painful blow to its own bid to win a first Champions League crown. Next updates from IPL cricket. Kolkata Knight Riders defeated Delhi Capital by 14 runs, completing a sensational turnaround in high-scoring Indian Premier League clash on Tuesday. The victory snapped Kolkata's 3-match winless run and took them to 9 points from 10 matches. However, they still remain at the 7th position. Meanwhile, Delhi Capitals, despite the defeat, held on to the 4th spot with 12 points from 10 games. Delhi have now lost 2 games in a row, making the race to the playoffs increasingly intense. Speaking of the match, Delhi Capitals looked in control of their chase of 205 runs, with set batters Faf du Plessis and Akshar Patel at the crease. However, Kolkata star Sunil Narayan took 3 wickets to turn the game in their favour. Earlier, Angresh Raghuvanshi top scored with 44 as Kolkata posted 204 for 9 after 20 overs. The victory keeps Kolkata's hopes alive in the playoffs hunt, while Delhi Capitals miss out on a chance to go on top of the table. Now, India's first ever Waves Summit is all set to open in Mumbai on the 1st of May. The event will be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. DD India's Deepika Mehta sent us this report from Mumbai showing the glimpses of how the city is gearing up to host this mega event.
India is all set to host its first ever World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit 2025 in Mumbai, which will bring together the world's leading media, entertainment, and technology innovators at the Geo Convention Centre. The city of Mumbai is gearing up to make this mega event a grand success at global level. From Waves brandings on buses and bus stops to subways and areas spanning an extraordinary 15,000 square kilometers, Waves 2025 is all set to generate waves in the ocean of entertainment and creativity. The platform will cater to industry giants, creators, investors, and cutting-edge technology pioneers to converge, collaborate, and explore the future of global entertainment. Not only this, the summit will also host the Bharat Pavilion along with other state stalls, which will showcase their prowess in the world of entertainment and technology. With an aim to strengthen India's creative strength and amplify its position as a hub for content creation, intellectual property, and technological innovation, Waves will be one-stop destination for all industry stakeholders.
The stage is all set for the first ever audio, visual and entertainment summit, which is Wave 2025, which is already creating ripples all across the globe, because this is not only connecting business to business opportunities across the country, but going global with its across the world approach. And not only this, the event is all set to be inaugurated by Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, and already so many creators, so many curators, so many business associates are present in Mumbai to make this event a great success. This is Deepika reporting for DD India from Mumbai.
And the iconic Bandra Worli Sea Link lit up in a breathtaking display, welcoming Waves 2025. Well, the summit kicks off tomorrow, May 1st to May the 4th. So that's it for this edition of DD India News Hour. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. Connect with us on our different social media handles at DD India Live. And you can also download our DD India mobile app for quick news and updates on the go. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. So we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja from all of us here in New Delhi. Thank you for watching. Namaskar.